we have discussed. Good evening, everyone. So we have discussed this PowerPoint presentation previously, and we discussed only half. So I will be discussing the rest of the things, and before that, I'll recap what we have discussed previously. It is testing and non-testing techniques, right? So non-testing techniques we are going to learn in the future. Testing techniques. So why do we test people? Yeah, why do you test people?
To check whether they have understood.
Yes, Buddha, can you repeat it? Yes?
To check whether the students understood the lesson.
Yeah, okay. We can give test to check whether the students have understood the lesson, right? So whether they have learned what the teacher has taught. So what are the different types of tests we have?
Oral tests, written tests,
Okay.
and sometimes.
And we have selection test. Yeah, we select, now we give proficiency test to see whether they are proficient in that subject. We give selection test for certain certain jobs. Sometimes we give selection tests. So then today we are talking about the tests given by the counselors, right? So what kind of test they are giving, so we can discuss what kind of test given by these counselors, right? So then the counseling service, we have discussed that counseling services are given to people, those who have problems, right? So the counselor helps people to find, understand the problem and find a solution. So at the end, we expect behavioral changes of the individual, right? So sometimes we keep records. That means counselors keep records. Why do they keep records? What are the reasons for keeping records by the counselor? Yes, tell.
In case of
For
legal case,
the future references.
Yes, for future references. Because yes, other answer. Yes, tell me.
in case of legal cases,
Yes, in case of legal cases, they should have proof. What are the others? Other reasons?
To begin the next session, we need the place where we have stopped.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So now, when we are giving counseling, if we keep records, we know what kind of things we have discussed or what kind of solutions. What kind of solutions? What kind of solutions that have been suggested by the client. So is that the counselor's responsibility to mm, find the solutions? Hmm? Does the counselor find solutions? Hello? Tell me. Now here,
Always not necessary to find the solution. Sometimes they may have to forward to other people.
okay. So especially in counseling, now guidance, that guide can find solutions, ready-made solutions to the client. But in the case of counseling, counselor does not find solutions to the client. What does the counselor do? Counselor helps the client to identify the problem and find solutions by him or herself, right? So that's the best thing. Don't you agree? Now, if we consider about a problem, now the client only knows it very well, right? So what can the counselor do? Counselor can listen to it and understand it, and counselor can support the client to find a solution to his or her problem, right? Then So main aim of giving guidance and counseling is to make adjustment to the client's life or have behavioral changes. Right. Then we talked about record keeping. As you told, we keep counselors keep records to know the kind of discussions went on. So where they have, then it's easy for us to proceed from the place where we have stopped, and it's easy for us to predict certain things, right? So then record keeping is very, very important, as you suggested in any case, that if there are court cases, we can give proofs. So therefore, record keeping is very important, right? Then not only that, so then if we happen to do referral means, now in certain cases, if we feel that we can't help the client anymore, we have, we need to refer the client to an expert counselor, then the records are very, very important. Then we can hand over the records to the next counselor or the psychiatrist. Then it will be helpful. Then he doesn't want to start from the beginning, right? Okay. Then what kind of things the records provide? What can we gain from record?
Client's history.
Client's history. What else?
The things that we have discussed
The things we have discussed
earlier,
earlier.
and
Yes, and the progress of the client. What
yes,
else? Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
Treatment planning and evaluation.
Yes, treatment plan, evaluation. Now,
Date and time of
what's
types of
that?
services. Date and types of services.
Dates and types of services. Okay, right.
Current health condition.
Current health condition or current situation of the client. Right.
Supervision and professional development.
Right. So then these are, yeah, supervision and professional development. Right. So then we keep different records, like cumulative records. So then cumulative records are maintained by the school counselor. So then they maintain one record for each student. So all the information about the student is included in that. That is why called cumulative. A lot of cumulative. So then each individual has got a record. So all the information of the child is included in that record, right? So then report sheets, you know, that report card, it shows the progress of the child, exam marks, assignment marks, project marks, test marks. They all are included in these reports. That means progress reports. So then thereby we can identify the progress or the students' performances, academic performances. Right. Then transcripts here, it is not the transcript we mean. Transcript record of it is about the student's behavior, performance, development of the child is included in this transcript, right? So then most of the schools offer this record at the end of the session or at the end of the terms. So then if the students are weak, remedial measures can be taken by the parents. Then even that when a child leaves the school, goes from one school to the other, these transcripts are given for the convenience of the other school to get an idea about the child. Right. Then there are health records. It's also very important. Then attendance records. Then school records. Right. The schools, they keep certain records of the children. So then all the necessary information about the child is included in that, including their progresses in the performances. Right. So then counselors can use the data to help the student to adjust to the environment and help the students for to improve the performances, right? So even this information is helpful to understand the intellectual abilities, skills, and other abilities, behaviors of the children. Okay. So what are the characteristics of good records? We discussed that day. Tell me if you remember. What are the characteristics of good records?
Accuracy,
Accuracy of information or reliability of
Organi-
information. Huh?
yeah, organization,
We have to organize the information in a better manner that everybody, that means anybody who reads it should be able to understand it easily. What else?
timeliness, sorry.
What do you mean by timeliness?
Uh, entries are made promptly after sessions.
Okay, that means updated.
Yeah.
Information is updated.
Information is up to date and
Okay.
reflective of recent developments. Like,
Okay, right. So then, okay, right. So then these records should be kept in a manner that anybody, even after years, if somebody reads, they should be able to understand it, right? So then it should be done in a methodical manner, right? So then, otherwise that there are some people who keep records only that he can understand. So we should not do like that when we are keeping records, that anybody who read it should be able to understand it. Right? Then
It must have a purpose.
what else you can add?
It must have a
completeness,
purpose.
Yes, completeness. What else?
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose. That yes, purpose should be there. Why we keep records? Yeah. Okay. And all.
confidentiality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
confidentiality is also very important, and the records must be constructive in nature. What do you mean by constructive in nature? Now, when we are giving comments, it should be constructive, not destructive. What do you mean by constructive?
Respecting the privacy, like that.
More than that, now if I
Something
imagine,
encouraging.
yeah,
Provide
something.
all necessary details.
Yeah, something encouraging. If I say like this, now imagine now you have done some writing. I tell, okay, you have done a great job. You have taken some effort to do something, but it's better if you use some words like this vocabulary. This is somewhat difficult, but if you can use the vocabulary in a manner that everybody can understand, and it's better if you can separate these paragraphs in this manner, so constructive. So if I say, what have you done? So you have done a nasty thing. So is this the way you are writing your essay? So that is destructive, right? So then we have to be always constructive. Now I can, if I give you an example, recently I went for a school profile to one of the schools with my students. The principal is a very young person. So what he said was, his English, now he has gone to a good school and he has got 6 A passes, 2 B passes and 1 S pass. Then that S pass is for English, because his teacher used to tell him, you can't learn English. So all the time that the teacher was demotivating this child. So therefore, he said that he used to hide in the classroom or try to cut the class. So that is what kind of comment has been given by the teacher?
Destructive.
Destructive. So now still today he says, when I remember that teacher, I feel a great anger towards her. I'm angry with her. Even when I remember today, I feel a great anger, right? So then That means he has been given a destructive comment. So we should not be like that. We have to give constructive all the time, right? So then records must be constructive. They also should be constructive. It's better if this child could do this like that. We can be constructive, right? And all the necessary details should be there in the records. Then it's easy for even this counselor leaves the place that somebody else can continue if they have detailed uh, records. Then what else should contain in the record? The record should,
Collaboration.
yeah,
Collaboration.
I'm asking what kind of things should be contained in the records. We have we have to include the students' development. What else? It's there. If you can see, can you see the note?
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's there. What else?
Strengths and weaknesses of the student.
Yes,
Social.
strengths, weaknesses, social behavior. What do you mean by social behavior?
Mm.
What do you mean by social behavior of the student?
Associating with the peers or sometimes elders or the youngest
Yes.
or
Now
friends.
here, yes. Now when we observe them during the interval, how does the child behave, whether he's playing with other students, and during the class time, that whether he's uh, cooperative with others in group work, so we can understand his social behavior, whether he's isolated, whether he's helpful, cooperative, right?
Whether he's taking leadership or something.
Yes, whether he's taking leadership or whether he's always try to hide and be cornered, right? And the way he uses his abilities, skills, his knowledge, cognitive aspect, his knowledge, right? Right. So then, if we include all these things, the teachers can easily take the judgments about the child, right? Right. Then, another thing is every record must have a purpose. So we should not keep records without purpose, right? Every record must have a purpose. Maybe the child, if the child is having some kind of IQ problem, the slow learner, or the child is having some wrong behavior, so then there should be a purpose of keeping the record, because sometimes we need records. Now, if I give an example for you, so the give me 1 minute. Right? So the other, now I told that there should be a purpose of doing the research, and at the same time, so then, yes, I was telling you about an experience that recently I told you that I went to a school with my students for school profile. So there, I came to know that in grade 3 class, there are 4 students who have come from other schools, right? So then these are special students because some have low IQ rates. That teacher said that there's one child, he doesn't remember anything. So now he is taught some letters or something. Now after 1-2 minutes that he has forgotten. But he was telling the teacher, even our training teachers, he was telling when he was in the previous school, that teacher only gave him to draw pictures, right? But now this teacher, she tries her best to help this child write letters, right? And she gives homework, okay? And so, but the problem is when the ISAs come from the zonal office, so they are asking the marks. That means the progress. So the teacher is in a trouble. How can she show the progress of these 4 students? Why? Why can't she show the progress? Yes, why? Why she is in trouble? Now they are always asking, we need the children to be over 70. The mark should be over 70. So can she show that
Can't.
that score with these 4 students? Can't. Why?
Can't.
It doesn't have
Their
records.
performance is very low.
Yes. So some are slow learners, some have low IQ rate, and there's one child who is hyperactive. So have you heard about hyperactive children?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the characteristics of hyperactive children? Yes. They can't stay in one place even 2-3 minutes. They run. That teacher was telling that he was eating the eraser, that running here and there, hitting children, and singing, and he does whatever he wants because
Yeah.
he has much energy. To release that energy, he does anything. So then the teacher has paid much attention to the child, showed more love to the child. Now the teacher says now he's okay. Now earlier when he was coming to school, he was very dirty. But now he comes to school in a way that with clean clothes. And now he's silent and he's doing some work in the class. So according to that, even a hyperactive child can be corrected with more attention, showing more love, right? Then the records, but then it's better if the teacher is maintaining some records of the student. Actually, she showed me because now she has given some work and she has given some marks to the students and the progress is there. So anybody who comes, they can go through the records of the student without blaming the teacher, not taking the child to seven up the marks, 7 upward. Right? Records must always be cross-indexed and overall record pointed in the various records must be maintained for easy retrieval and access. So I told you that records must be maintained in a way that anybody can easily understand, easily read and understood. Right? So then that means quick reference should be, anybody should be able to do quick references of the records, right? And to come to certain conclusions. Right. Then why it is necessary to keep confidentiality of the records? Why it is essential to keep the confidentiality of the records? We should not let others to access the records. Why? Because it is an ethic in counseling. According to in counseling, there are certain ethics. So this confidentiality is the first and foremost ethic. We have to maintain confidentiality of records and information of the clients. We should not give it to anybody. But there are certain occasions that we can give. What are they? What are the occasions we can give these information?
Legal cases.
Legal
Information.
requirements.
I have told you. Yes, at legal requirements. So under the if we are given legal document, so then only we can give. Otherwise, without the consent of the client, we can't give any information to anybody, right? So then for that, while maintaining records also, we have to tell the client that we are maintaining records of him. And so we need to get the permission from the client, right? Right. Then So I told you that while maintaining records also, we have to get the counselor's permission to maintain the records, because he should know that there are records about him, right? Okay. Okay, right. Then a counselor also should be able to read these records, because we should have the authority. We should also have the authority to see what they have written. Otherwise, it's not nice. They can write anything if we don't know, right? So then we can, the client can access to the records, right? Right. Then, if the counselor is working with a group, can the counselor show it to the group? Now imagine the counselor is keeping records of the clients. Now there's a group. So can the counselor show the records of others to the group?
No,
No. Why?
because it's an
It
ethic.
is against the ethic. What is the ethic? Yeah, ethic. We have to keep the confidentiality of the information. So we can show the information only to the client, right? Okay. So now we can show them when we are transferring them to another party. That means another counselor or psychiatrist, because that they should know what is in the records in order to continue the treatments. Right. Okay. Right. Then counselors have to maintain certain testing techniques when giving counseling to the clients, right? So what kind of tests have to be maintained, used by the clients, counselors? What kind of tests?
Personality text.
Okay, personality tests. And then performance tests, personality tests, then psychology tests, IQ tests, right? So then the tests can be, now according to the need, the relevant test should be selected by the practitioner, right? So then there are manuals. So they can go through the manuals and they can select the correct test for the client, right? So then when we are giving the test also, there are certain instruction in the manual. So then there are standardized tests. Even there are non-standardized tests. Even the counselor can prepare certain tests, right? So if he wants to do experiments with the client and come to conclusions, he can give non-standardized tests. But if he wants to give that standardized tests, like there are certain standardized psychology tests that he can give, right? Okay, we discussing later on. We are discussing later on. Right. Then these tests can be given to either to groups or individuals, right? So I'm going to discuss some of the standardized tests later on in these slides, right? That's why I wanted to recap it, because if I start halfway, that you won't understand what's this head or tail of it, right? So then we can administer the tests either to groups or individuals, right? So then that depends, the administration of the test also depend on the purpose and why we are giving it, and so the way that we are conducting. So all these things we have to consider when giving tests, right? Right. These are certain tests. Scoring of tests. Now we give some tests to know their scores, that whether the child is average, over, that means whether they are scoring over average or less than. So we can identify that by giving them scoring, by giving them tests. So according to their scores, we can decide whether, now especially when we are doing IQ tests, right? Intelligence quotient is decided by dividing the mental age from the chronological age and multiplying by 100. I will show you a video of that. So then they need to give a test to find the score. Now, as an example, if you want to know whether the child is a gifted one, average one, or a slow learner, you can give a test. Now imagine the child is in grade 5. So you give a test that is relevant to grade 5. So now, what is the age of the student who is in grade 5?
10 or 11.
Yeah, 10, imagine 10 years, right? So then, if he takes an average mark like 70, 60, then his mental age is 10, right? So mental age is relevant to his chronological age. Chronological age means normal age. Now he's given a test. Now this child is in grade 5, and he's given a test that is relevant to grade 6, right? Then if this child scores more marks, so what is his chronological mental age? Now when he does well, performs well, the grade 5 test, now his chronological age is 10. If he performs well, the grade 6 paper, what is his mental age?
11.
11. So if he's given a test that is relevant to grade 7, and if he scores well, then again mental age goes up. So have you heard about children who have done their O-levels when they are in grade 9, 8? Recently there was a boy from Kurunagal. Did you hear that he has sat for the O-level exam and has got 9 A's?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So then
Yes, madam.
they are gifted children, those who have high IQ level, right? Then interpreting the test. Now, test can be interpreted either orally, or else we can record them in their in their progress reports, right? Then we can even interpret the test after giving them according to the manual. We can interpret. That means we can give the mark according to the instructions given in the manual, right, or guide, right? Then even that we can do it, we can interpret by using a computer also. Computerized tests also can be given, right? So they can, if we give a Google form and ask the child to do the test, so we can, computer can decide the mark of the child or the level of the child, right? Communicating the test results so that we can tell the results either verbally or in a record, right? The main issue in testing is confidentiality. So what are the problems? What are the confidentiality problems when you are giving a test? Now, have you seen that most of the tests now here in universities, that if they give them online, that only the candidate can see their results, nobody else can. Do you have that experience? Now here that recently I did my master's in public administration and education management. So at Postgraduate Institute of Management, Jaipur University. So there's the portal, Prajna portal. So then I have to enter it using my student name and my password. So then once I log on to it, when I go to performance, I can see my results. Even the average marks and all, everything can be seen. So only I can see. Nobody else can see it, right? Okay. Right. So then, now, what are the things we have to consider before giving a test? What are the things we have to consider before giving a test?
Time.
More than the time.
We have
Purpose
to
of the test. Purpose
prepare
of the
very
test.
Yeah,
preparation.
yeah, we should know the purpose of the test also, that we have to prepare for the test, right? We should know how to do it, the details about how to do the test, right? So then how to conduct the test and how can the results be interpreted, right? So the reliability of the test, right?
Validity.
So then it's better if the validity of the test, it's better if the counselor has already experienced of giving a similar test, right? Right. Then, so did you see that very recently that there was a complaint about a grade 5 teacher? That teacher has given a wrong paper the month. Oh yes. Teacher has given a paper to the student. She has given the second paper first, or whatever it is, that after some time she has come to know this, she has given a wrong paper. Not wrong paper, she has given the paper to wrong numbers, right? So after some time she has collected them and given again according to the correct numbers. Now what has happened then? Imagine what has happened there. The students, some of them have answered. Now imagine the time they have wasted. So then some of the students who received the paper, half-written paper, if a poor student, that somebody, a person a child who is good at the test, he has done half, then it's good for that person. But imagine a clever student who has got the paper from a weaker student, now she is in a trouble, right? Therefore, before giving a test, we should know about the purpose of the test. You have to prepare for the test. We should know how to do the test, how to interpret the test, right? So then it's better if the counselor has some kind of experience before giving the test, right? Then it will help the counselor to gain exact knowledge about how to conduct the specific test. Then, now that is what we want to come. Psychological tests and their types. So counselors, they are doing psychological tests. Why do they need to give psychological tests? Now one is psychological test, other one is IQ test. So why should they give psychological tests to the clients?
To know about the individual psychological needs.
Their psychological needs, their attitudes, abilities, motivations,
Emotional.
their difficulties, right? Yeah. So then psychological tests is not only a written test. So they can give some behavior tests also to see how does the child behave or what kind of decisions they take at certain tests, behavior tests. Right? Right. In a standardized psychological test, the scores of the individual are compared with test scores obtained from samples of tests that were conducted when the test was first developed. Now, when the clients are given psychological tests, the score may be that the child is given a situation or behavior and see how does the child behave or take decision during that time. So then they have some scores accordingly. So they compare this score with the initial scores. Initial scores means now at the very beginning they decided certain score. When මේ ගන්න තමයි ගන්න ඕනි මෙයා normal නම්. So if the child is not normal, this amount should be taken like that. So they have to compare the score gained by the child with the scores of the samples of tests, right? First they develop. They have already decided if they have 70, the child is normal. If they have 40, the child needs to be improved like that. So they have to compare the test score with the sample of test scores they have considered previously. Psychological tests can be conducted in various ways. They may require the individual to answer yes or no, right or wrong, right? So sometimes they have to give detailed information about their likes, about their attitudes, moods, right? Then, so psychological test, now we can't just give psychological test. We have to design it according to the manuals or according to the instructions given, right? So it should be reliable, the test should be accurate. So it should assess various behavior characteristics of the person. Right? Then on the basis of the behavior trait, the behavior characteristic then assessed, psychological tests be categorized into several types of tests, right? So now after giving the psychological tests, right? So the psychological test is given under certain behavior characteristics. So then they assess certain behavior characteristics by giving this psychological test. Accordingly, the type of test can be categorized. So they are like this. Intelligence tests. Right. Now tell me, why do we need to measure intelligence? What kind of intelligences we know? කියන බණ intelligences වර්ග. Now, if you have heard sometimes back at Takshila Central College, grade 5 student called, what's his name? Can't remember his name. He scored 200 out of 200. So what kind of child is he? Yeah, the child who scored 200 out of 200. He's a
Gifted
child, yes. Gifted
more than that.
child. In Sinhala we call Subhaga. Yeah, so then we give them tests. Now I told you, now first we give them, wait, I will show you a video of measuring intelligence. Right, look at this. Wait. Can you hear and can you see? Wait. It sounds. Sorry.
That was localized for Paris.
Can-
Created an
can you hear?
American version of an IQ test called
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Stanford Binet test. The Stanford Binet test was the first to have national norms, not just local ones, like the last one we saw that was localized for Paris. The Stanford Binet test used the same IQ ratio as we talked about before. Mental age over chronological age times the average, which is 100. The test focused on 3 main domains: verbal language, quantitative, or math, and spatial. One problem with the test, however, was that the questions they used were only for children and teenagers, so adult intelligence couldn't be measured. David Weschler solved this problem by creating a test of intelligence for adults called the Weschler Adult Intelligence Scale. This looked at the same domains as the Stanford Binet test. This test asked questions that were more adult appropriate. For example, why do individuals buy automobile insurance? Or, in what ways are boats and trains the same? Modern versions also test working memory, with problems such as the examiner saying 3 numbers. For example, 3, 9, and 7. Then the person is asked to repeat them back, or 8 numbers: 8, 5, 9, 7, 4, 3, 7, 2. And again, the person has to repeat these. The more numbers a person can recall, the greater their working memory is.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see.
Welcome to another video by an integration of psychology-related data for the purpose of making a psychological evaluation that is
Okay, that's enough. Others are a little bit boring. Okay, we'll see. Now, if it is boring, I will just go to the, let's see. Wait,
Psychological tests and measurements is
I will share.
a graduate level course in the field of psychological tests and measurements.
Can you see and can you hear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right.
It's a graduate level course in behavioral sciences at Cal Southern University. And this is a very special class that I teach because I love the area so much. Been involved in psychological testing and assessment for about 25 years in a variety of settings, inpatient, outpatient, forensic. And I think that I have a really special ability to make this class one that students both understand and can utilize in their private practice and in other settings. Sometimes students are a little intimidated by this area, and I think that by the end of the course, they're really feeling very strong and competent. In this class, you get an opportunity not only to become familiar with psychological tests, but really have the chance to learn how to interpret and write a complete professional psychological report. That report includes such things as a mental status exam, a complete psychosocial history, the assessment of projective and objective tests, a summary and conclusion, diagnosis based on the testing, and treatment recommendations. I really look forward to seeing you in the class and hope that you'll consider taking the course.
Right. Then, so then intelligence test. Now, did you see that how intelligence test is measured? She did the mathematical part. How did she do? Yes. How did she use the mathematical formula to show you intelligence test? Okay, right. That there's a message that whether I can send the PowerPoint presentation previously. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, then it's easy for you. Ne? Okay. Right. I will send. Okay. So there is psychological tests that we have intelligence tests. Now, how do you measure the intelligence of the child? We divide the mental age. Right. Okay. I showed you here. Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah. Can you remember that there was a video? Look at here.
Mental age over chronological age
Yes. And
in 100.
multiplied by
100.
100. Okay. Look at here.
Lewis Terman, a psychologist from Stanford, created an American version called the Stanford Binet test. The Stanford Binet test was the first to have national norms, not just local ones, like the last one we saw that was localized for Paris. The Stanford Binet test used the same IQ ratio as we talked about before, mental age over chronological age times the average, which is 100. The test focused on 3 main domains: verbal language, quantitative or math, and spatial. One problem with this test.
Okay. So then, how can we find the IQ ratio? Yes. Hello. Tell me. Look at the screen and tell me.
Mental age divided by chronological age and multiplied by 100.
Yes. So what are the tests? What are the tests we give this child? We give language tests. So language tests are given.
Verbal
Verbal
language.
means we can give oral tests. And
Quantitative maths.
quantitative means mathematics. And spatial means space. Yeah, to give them an idea about the space. We can keep objects and we can ask them the distance like that. Okay. So then we measure this IQ ratio from these kind of tests, right? So what is mental age? Now, if the child is 10 years old, then the child is given a test relevant to 10 years. That means if the child is in grade 5, we give a test relevant to grade 5. If the child scores 80 marks or 70 marks more than average, then we tell him that he has the same mental age according to his chronological age. Then we give a test that belongs to grade 6 and this child gets again 70 or 80. Then what's his IQ ratio? The mental age? His mental age is
11.
11. And again we give grade 7 test paper. Then again if he scores, then his mental age is 12. So like that, I told you some examples like the child who scored 200 marks at the scholarship exam. Then the child who sat for O-level exam who is in grade 9 and scored 9 is that they have high IQ ratio, high IQ level. They are gifted children, right? So intelligence tests are they? That they are the intelligence tests. So there we can decide whether the child is a gifted one, average one, slow learners, whether the child is an idiot, or the child is suffering from some IQ problems, right? So now, if we find a child who can't remember, now imagine the teacher teaches, now this is how you have to write the letter A, B, C, D. Soon after that, he has forgotten. So what kind of intelligence does he have? Yes? High IQ level or low IQ level?
Low IQ level.
Low IQ level, and he is a slow learner, late bloomer, slow learner, right? So then yeah, yes, tell. We can find abilities of the students. We can give certain behavioral tests, interest tests, personality tests, achievement tests, right? Right. So then each test has a separate purpose, and we assess different characteristics, different attitudes of the individuals are tested from these tests, right? So then any psychological test to be of use to the counselor as well as the client must have the following characteristics. Shall we watch a video of a personality test with
the world's quickest personality test. What I'd like is hold out your hands in front of you, make certain they're level, and then close your eyes. So don't just sit there and now close your eyes. Don't lose my voice in the darkness.
Can you hear and can you see? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, right. We'll play it.
Now imagine there's a helium balloon attached to the fingers of your right hand. So it's gently pulling your right hand up into the air. At the same time, imagine a pile of books on your left hand. The books are pushing down on your left hand and pushing it towards the floor. The balloon is pulling the right hand up, the books pushing the left hand down. Now enjoy any images that float into your mind, but still remember that your hands are being pushed and pulled. Excellent. Now open up your eyes. So what does it mean? Well, if your hands are far apart, then you tend to have a good imagination. You're sensitive, intuitive, and you easily become absorbed in books and films. If your hands are level, you're more down to earth. You're more logical, you're more analytical, and you enjoy puzzles and games. And if you saw an image of a puppy, well, you just tend to be a little bit suspicious.
Okay. They are personality tests. We'll see what is this. We'll watch only a little and then know how to pass. Ne?
Hi, Psych2Goers. 'Goers. 'Your personality defines. 'Your personality defines 'who 'you 'are 'Your 'personality 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 defines 'who 'you 'are 'Your who you are. It is a combination of your
Okay.
Your personality defines who you are. It is
Okay. Can you see and can you hear? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. We'll see how to measure personality.
the combination of your traits, emotions, beliefs, behaviors. While every
Right. So then what comprises personality? Again, look at here. What comprises personality?
it is a combination of your traits, emotions, beliefs, behaviors. While every
Yes. What are they?
Traits, emotions,
Behaviors.
Traits, emotional,
Behaviors, emotions. What else?
Emotions.
Oh, මතක නැහැ.
traits,
There were 4 or 5.
your personality defines who you are. It is a combination of your traits, emotions, beliefs, behaviors. While every person and their
Beliefs
personality
and behaviors. Traits, emotions, beliefs, and behaviors. Right? Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. What's the first one? I can't hear.
Traits means characteristic. Trait means characteristic.
Okay,
Characteristics,
okay.
belief,
Okay, ma'am.
emotions, behavior. Right.
and one of
Okay,
a
thank
kind.
you.
Have been some attempts to categorize different types of personality. Those types of categorization can help describe a person's strengths, weaknesses, or how others perceive them. If you'd like to find out which category your personality fits, take this quiz and find out. There is no right or wrong answer. Pick the letter that resonates with you the most and record each letter. Try to be sincere in your answers. Number 1. What would you say is your biggest flaw? A. Being very impatient. I just can't keep still and wait. B. Procrastination. I always leave everything for the last moment. C.
What do you mean by procrastination? Procrastination means what? So now the question is, what is your most what's that? The flow can adupadu the weakness. Right, okay.
Number 1. What would you say is your biggest flaw?
Biggest flow. ලොකුම අඩුපාඩුව. ලොකුම වැරද්ද.
A. Being very impatient.
A. Being very impatient.
Just can't keep still and wait. B. Procrastination.
What do you mean by procrastination? Postponing things. We postpone. I'll do tomorrow. Then again, I'll do next day. Like that, procrastination.
I always leave everything for the
Okay,
last
can you
moment.
take the test then? Shall we? Hello? Can you take the test?
okay, ma'am.
You had just write A, B, C, D. And you can take. Okay, ready? Shall I play it from the beginning? Hello? Hello, can you take the test? Okay, right.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
write down the answers. Right, okay.
Is completely unique and one of a kind. There have been some attempts to categorize different types of personality. Those types of categorization can help describe a person's strengths, weaknesses, or how others perceive them. If you'd like to find out which category your personality fits, take this quiz and find out. There is no right or wrong answer. Pick the letter that resonates with you the most and record each letter. Try to be sincere in your answers. Number 1. What would you say is your biggest flaw? A. Being very impatient. I just can't keep still and wait. B. Procrastination. I always leave everything for the last moment. C. I'm a people pleaser and I sometimes forget about my own needs. Or D. Being pessimistic. I always
Okay. What's the third one? Forget things. So forget the prior. Yeah. Then this one? Last one? Pessimistic. Very negative. So now here, now there's a glass. You think of the empty part, not the full, the part that it's half full, half empty. So if I say, what can you tell about this glass? You tell half empty. But person who thinks in a positive manner, he thinks half Full.
Full.
Right. So they put A, B, C, D. What is your highest flow? First one is, what's the first one?
Impatient.
I can't remember.
Impatience.
Impatient. Number 2,
Please.
procrastination. That means
Procrastination.
postponing things. Number 3,
Forget about.
Forgetting.
forgetting things.
Forgetting.
And 4 is
Pessimist.
Pessimistic.
yes, right. A, B, C.
What is the second word, madam? Postponing or something?
Postponing is procrastination. 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 Yeah, procrastination. We postpone things.
Thank you.
Okay, can we go to the second one? Hello?
Yeah, ma'am. Okay.
On the bright side.
Okay.
Number 2. What would you say is your biggest strength? A. I'm rational. I'm not carried by.
What is rational? What do you mean by rational? I don't take decisions by thinking or so. If somebody says, I think, I argue, I reason. You just don't believe for what others say or without just rationalizing. So then you rationalize. You just think.
Emotions, and I make decisions based on intellectual thinking. B. I'm easygoing. I always know everything will be fine. C. I'm organized. Everything has its own place and I plan ahead. Or D. I'm introspective. I like analyzing my own thoughts and finding solutions.
Introspective means that you think what happened and you analyze, and accordingly you take decisions. Are 4 answers clear? Do you want to watch it again? Hello?
Ma'am, could you please tell me the second one?
Wait.
Intellectuality or something.
Let's see.
Easygoing.
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 I see. Going. Okay. Okay.
Going
Thank
means
you.
that you don't take anything, just hey, like that, easygoing. Right? Okay.
Or D. I'm introspective. I like analyzing my own thoughts and finding solutions. Number 3. What motivates you? A. Money and success. I want it all.
Money and success, right?
B. I can keep on going as long as I'm the center of attention.
If you are center of the attention, you can keep on going.
C. Overcoming a challenge is what's driving me forward.
Overcoming challenges.
Or D. Stability and security. I just want to have my peace. Number 4.
So 4th one is you want to have your peace.
How are you with other people? A. Dominant. I like being the leader.
Dominant. So now how do you behave with other people? You take you are a dominant character, right? You want to control all the others.
B. Friendly and charismatic. I know everyone likes me. C. Controlling. I want it my way. Or D. Shy. I get a little socially anxious, but I'm trying my best. Number 5. Which job would you like the most? A. I'd like to be a manager in a big company. B. Party planner. I want to have fun. C. Being an artist. I just want to create something new every day. Or D. I'd like to be a therapist and help people. Number 6. What do you hate the most? A. Long explanations or descriptions. Can you just get to the point? B. Non-social people. I just think they're.
Number 1 is long explanation that you don't like or hate. What is B?
B. Non-social people. I just
Non-social people. Less social people. Right.
think they're kind of boring. C. Drama. Let me stay out of it, please. Or D.
What is C?
Let me stay out of it, please. Or D. Conflict. I don't really like arguing.
Conflicts. Number C is that you
Drama is it.
want to be away from others. Now, Drama. Wait.
Yes, madam.
Not sure, ma'am.
Conflict. I don't really like arguing with anyone. B. Non-social people. I just think they're kind of boring. C. Drama. Let me stay out of it, please.
Mm.
Or D. Conflict. I don't really like arguing with anyone.
Mm.
Number 7. What type of friend are you? A. I work too much, so I don't have many friends. B. I lead conversations and enjoy making people laugh. C. I always give the best advice. Or D. I'm always here to be a shoulder to cry on. And number 8. What would you say other
Could you identify the four answers?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
A. I work too much, so I don't have many friends.
I work too much. I don't have many friends. So lonely. Right? Okay, I'm in a lecture now. I'll call you later. Yes. Yes, then. So we have to heal the students. One child went to take medicine. She was having fever. Now she told that she's okay now after having medicine. So even listening to the students also is a kind of healing. So then we can't ignore them. Okay, right.
B. I lead conversations and enjoy making people laugh.
So then he likes conversation and make people laugh. A is lonely. He doesn't like to work with others. Now B, he wants to have conversations and make people laugh.
C. I always give the best advice.
I always give best advice.
Or D. I'm always here to be a shoulder to cry on.
I'm always be a shoulder to cry on. That means anybody can share problems or whatever it is with you. Okay. I'm also the same with my students. So they can tell me anything at any time. Now even this child, I wanted to cut the call, but anyway that she was telling I am the one who went to take medicine. Now I'm okay after having medicine. So I couldn't cut it. Okay. Right.
And number 8. What would you say other people think about you? A. That I'm too stubborn.
Okay.
B.
What is A? Too stubborn. Stubborn. Stubborn කියලා කියන්නේ මුරණ්ඩුයි.
That I'm arrogant. C. That I'm not very social.
B is arrogant. Arrogant can තරහ යන. C, I'm not very social.
Or D. That I'm too quiet.
I'm too quiet.
Now, count how many times you chose answer A, answer B, answer C, and answer D. Which answers appear the most? If A appears the most, you're a type A personality.
Right. So if you have more A's, you're type A personality.
If you're a type A personality, you set high standards for yourself and are extremely competitive.
Okay. How many of them have more A's? Anybody who has got more A's? A's are very competitive, right?
Goals, and you usually succeed in accomplishing them.
You set goals and succeed your goals.
You are ambitious and passionate about everything you do.
You're ambitious and passionate about everything you do.
You use your time wisely and you're always organized. When dealing with people, you're assertive, but dominant and highly competitive. This ambition can sometimes make you impatient and stubborn. If B appears the most, you're a type B personality. Being type B personality means you're a calming influence. You're relaxed, peaceful, grounded, patient, and easygoing. People like you because you're friendly and charismatic, and everyone knows there's fun where you are. You like having lots of people around you and being the center of attention. You are easily bored with routine and seek excitement.
How many are B type? How many? No one?
Because of that, you're sometimes prone to procrastination. If C appears the most, you're a type C personality. If you're a type C, you're most likely a perfectionist, detail-oriented, and organized. You follow the rules, and unlike type B, you need your well-known routine. You're very intelligent and analytical, and you use that intellect in various situations, whether it's problem solving at work or school, or giving advice to your friends. Sometimes you may be a people pleaser, and because you need everything to be perfect, you might spend your time worrying too much. And if D appears the most, you're a type D personality. Being a type D personality means you're very sensitive and emotional. Sometimes you might be a bit pessimistic and shy, or even feel a bit lonely. But those who know you also know that you're very compassionate, trusting, observant, and sincere. You are very introspective and existential, and you're always there to help everyone who needs it. So, which type of personality are you? Or maybe you're somewhere in between two categories. Do you feel like your results actually fit your personality? Let us know in the comments below. As we said before,
Okay. Okay, how many had A personality? No one? B personality? Easygoing, jovial, helping friends. Okay, right. We'll go to the PPT. Okay. So now we talked about intelligence tests. So intelligence is measured by dividing mental age by chronological age and multiplied by 100. So then we can identify whether the child is gifted, average, slow learner, idiot. So like that we can find their intelligence from this test. Then test of abilities. Now, abilities means reasoning, right? Doing certain work. We can give behavior tests. So we can give different situations and see with what kind of solutions come out, right? Solutions, they come out. Then interest test, personal test, achievement tests. What do you mean by achievement tests? What are the achievement tests? Yes. So then we achieve something. O levels, A levels, they are summative tests as well as their achievement tests. Each of these tests has a defined purpose and assesses different traits. Traits means characteristics. They have different purposes and they assess different characteristics and attitudes of the individual. Any psychological test to be of use to the counselor as well as the client must have the following characteristics. So psychological tests have these kind of characteristics. What are they? The test must be reliable. Now here there are sometimes there are some students. Now we have these hyperactive children. So sometimes there are students that they finish the work quickly and they run here and there, disturb the others, disturb the teacher. Right? So then they soon finish the work. Sometimes they dominate. If a worksheet is given to the group, he does it first and then say, teacher, I finished, like that. So then, do you think they are hyperactive children? Or do you think they are children with behavioral disorders? Are they slow learners? What kind of children are they? Just tell.
I think, ma'am, they have behavioral disorders.
Now, what they have done, yes, it also may be, but sometimes they may be the gifted children. Why? The given activities are not sufficient to their intelligence. It's too simple. So they do it very quickly and they run here and there and they do whatever things they want. Why? The activities are not sufficient to them. So what should the teacher do then in such cases? So we can't ignore them.
Ask to help peer or ask to help the low learner.
Yes, it also can be done. Ask to help the slow learners. So we can we can put the students in mixed ability groups and we can give them the leadership. Or else teacher can have some activities higher level to the given class.
Yes, that's
Right?
also.
So the teacher can give some activities for these gifted children. Yeah. So they can search some points. They can search some facts and they can write a report or whatever it is. They can give some activities higher to that, higher than the average students. We can have separate activities. Even when we have slow learners in the classroom, we can't ignore them. So we have to have some activities for them as well. Not color in the pictures. We can give writing letters, fill in the blanks, matching. So you should have some separate activities for them as well, because you can't go only with the able students. You have to help these students out also, the weaker students. Right. Then the test must be reliable. Right. So then test must be accurate and at whatever the time. That means if the test is given to anybody, the same result should have. The results cannot be changed. That means there should be a reliable one, right? Then the test must be valid. That is, it measures exactly what is intended to measure. So if we want to measure something from the test, so it should be able to measure that when we call it valid. අපිට මොනවා හරි measure කරනවා ඒක measure කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනි ඒ test එකේ, right? Right. Then the test must be practical and usable in the sense that it can be easily administered. Means we should be able to use it without spending much money. The test within a very short period of time. So cost effective and we should be able to do it within a very short period of time. Right. So then, according to Lee, psychologist, he told certain things about psychological test. He said these are the purposes of giving psychological test. What are they? Just tell me, look at this and tell me, what is the purpose of giving psychological test? Yes.
Prediction, selection, classification, and
Or
evaluation.
prediction. What is prediction? Yeah, what is the prediction? What do you mean by prediction?
Tell about the future. What will happen?
Yeah, so then The various psychological tests that the individual undertake provide a basis for predicting the decisions that the individual will take. Yeah, what kind of decision will he take? කියන එක predict කරන්න පුළුවන්. From this test, we can predict what kind of decision will he take to overcome the problem. And selection. What do you mean by selection? So, abilities of the individual. So, we have selection tests for certain jobs, right? Whether he's good at English, whether he is good at the practical given. So, then we select people for jobs by through selection tests. And what do you mean by classification?
Classify child on the basis of
Yeah, how can we
their
classify?
aptitude and
Yeah.
attitude.
Yeah, so then we classify the individual according to their aptitudes and attitudes, right? So then they have to take a psychological test to measure them, right? Their level, whether they are high IQ rate students or low IQ rate students. Right? What do you mean by evaluation? So we assess and evaluate certain tests or programs, methods, techniques, right? Whether they are suitable, effective, applicable. Right. So then intelligence is one of the most commonly used psychological term that is used to distinguish people that I told you. There are students with high IQ rate, subagalamaina, students with average IQ, then lower IQ. So we can divide them. We can categorize them using intelligence test. Intelligence is basically an understanding of how well the individual use complex processes. Complex processes, how do they understand complex processes is the term that we measure intelligence. Intelligence කියන complex processes තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් එයා intelligent. Right? So through his experience or from knowledge, he should be able to understand complex processes. Right? So if he is unable to understand these complex processes, we tell that he has lower intelligence. Right? So intelligence cannot be measured only from these tests, only from the intelligence test. So we have to use different ways, like certain behaviors. We have give them some activities, and we have give some situations to see how well they behave in the situation, what kind of decisions they take, what kind of solutions they take to the problem. Therefore, we can measure intelligence from different ways, not only from this test, right? Right. So then, intelligence tests are thus based on different and independent intelligences, right? So then we discussed about multiple intelligence previous week. How many of them were there to watch? How many of them watch that Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences? Were you there? How many were there when I showed you Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences? If you remember, tell me one intelligence given by Howard Gardner.
Logical, mathematical intelligence.
Yes. So one is linguistic intelligence. What do you mean by linguistic intelligence? Ability to use the language. So he can express his thoughts or understand others by language. He can express his thoughts by using language. He can understand others by language. That's why linguistic intelligence. Then logical mathematical intelligence is, it refers to ability of the individual to think logically. Right? So he can critically manipulate symbols. He can use symbols. He can solve mathematical problems. Then we tell that he has logical mathematical intelligence. What do you mean by spatial intelligence? He has the idea of space, right? So then spatial intelligence refers to the ability of a person to form, transform and use mental images. මොන හරි කිව්වහම අපිට mental image එකක් මවා ගන්න පුළුවන්. It is spatial intelligence that enables person to understand relationship of objects in space. That space එකේ තියෙන objects, space කියලා කියන අහස විතරක් නෙවෙයි. අපේ මේ බිමක තියෙන ඉඩ උනත් objects ගැන ඒකේ ඉඩ ගැන idea එකක් තියෙනවා. කොච්චර දුරකින්ද තියෙන්නේ ඒ වගේ. Then musical intelligence, it is the capability of the individual to create, produce and manipulate musical patterns. He can use musical patterns. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, so then individual is able to use his body structure and muscles. He can coordinate things, then facilitate movements. Wait. He can use his body to do various tasks: run, jump, catch, write. ඒවා ඕන එක bodily kinesthetic intelligence. that ඕනි body එකෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන් flexibility එක use කරලා කරන්න පුළුවන් ඕනිම activity එක. Then interpersonal. What do you mean by interpersonal intelligence? Yes, what is interpersonal intelligence?
Ability of the individual to relate with other people.
Yes, interact with others. Right? So interpersonal intelligence means the ability of the individual to relate with other people and understand their behavior, attitude, others' emotions. Right? So then they can understand other people interpersonally. They can interact with them and understand other people. Intrapersonal, what do you mean by intrapersonal?
Understand his inner self.
Yes, so he got to understand what kind of inner self. What do you mean by inner self?
Strength, weakness.
Yes, he has to understand himself. He has to have a picture about himself, his strengths, his weaknesses, right? Then naturalistic intelligence. What do you mean by naturalistic intelligence?
Knowledge about the world.
Yes, knowledge about the environment he lives, the surrounding. So he can identify the beauty of the nature. He can enjoy the beauty of the nature, right? So then he knows the importance of the environment. So he protects it. So he knows how to lead a healthy life. Then existential intelligence. What do you mean by existential intelligence? So he knows the basics of human existence. Human existence means what are the things we need to exist in the world. We need oxygen, we need space, we need trees, animals, right? We need to protect water, oxygen, right? So then he knows what are the basic things we need to live here. So what will happen if we cut all the trees and sell or prepare furniture or houses, right? So once, can you remember that there was once that lady Devani, she fought with the minister against cutting mangroves or trees and putting and making a playground. She was fighting and many people got together and supported her. මතකද? මේ ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ මෙන්න මෙච්චරයි ඔක්සිජන් ප්‍රතිශතය තියෙන්නේ. මේ ගස් ටික කැපුවොත් ඒකත් නැති වෙනවා. She was fighting and people wanted a playground. They don't value, they don't know about oxygen. Right? They oxygen කන්නද කියලා ඉවරක් කෙනෙක්. So then they don't understand the importance of oxygen. සෙල්ලම් කරන්නත් හුස්ම අරගෙන ඉන්න එපා නේද? So then we need to know the basic things we need for our existence. Therefore, we need to protect this environment. So we should not burn polythene. What will happen if we burn polythene? This carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and chlorofluorocarbon, they will go up and they will destroy this ozone layer. Right? So they will have very bad effects. Therefore, we have to know the basic things the man need for the existence, right? Okay. Right. So with the emergence of the concept of multiple intelligences, the intelligence tests today require a person to perform several tasks. So there are 4 basic intelligence tests used to measure the intelligence of a person. One is Binet-Simon scale, right? So these 2 people together, they created a scale, right? So it was first introduced in 1905 and revised in 1908 and 1911. So the test was further developed by psychologists. Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon, they believed that intelligence was a learned entity. Learned, ඉගෙන ගැනීම නිසා තමයි intelligence කියන එක ඇති වුනේ කියලා තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතුවේ. Right? Learning know by not learning. ඉගෙන ගැනීමෙන් හරි නැත්නම් errors in learning ඉගෙන ගන්න තියෙන වැරදි නිසා තමයි කියලා තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ හිතුවේ විශ්වාස කරේ intelligence කියන්නේ. Right? So then the test was basically formulated to test the intelligence of children according to their age. I told you that IQ tests, yes, that mental age is divided by chronological age and multiplied by 100. Regular intelligence කියලා කියන්නේ තනිකරම what? Learning or errors in learning. Yeah. Right. Then they conducted this test for age group of 3 to 12 years. Okay, so the original test that they have included these things. Okay, so then they gave this kind of test, right? Comprehension by tactile stimulus. Allala balala තේරුම් ගන්න. Comprehension by visual perception. දැකලා තේරුම් ගන්න. Recognition of food, identifying food. Executing simple commands. සරල commands use කරන්න පුළුවන්. Imitate simple gestures. Gestures දුන්නාම ඒවා imitate කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා අනුකරණය කරන්න පුළුවන්. Verbal knowledge about objects. So they can name some objects. They can name some pictures. They can naming of designated objects. Make a table, make a chair. This is the lamp. Okay? They can name them. Immediate comparison of 2 lines of unequal lengths. Two unequal lengths are given. They compare. This is longer. This is shorter. This is longer than this. This is shorter than this. They compare 2 ways. Barawal dekak compare karna. So did you learn about Piaget's tests? Piaget tests ටික ඉගෙන ගත්තද? If we have, we can show you. Shall I show you only one? Right, okay. Yeah, just tests. Wait, we'll see. Videos. Okay, I will show you one.
Hi, my My name is Jacob Ornelas, and I interviewed 4-year-old Landon for my child experience. Ask you is do you have a sibling? Do you have a brother or a sister?
Can you hear and can you see? Hello? Can you see?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you hear?
Yeah, I got a sister.
You got a sister? Okay, what's her name? Aletha?
Yeah.
Okay. Does Aletha have a brother or sister? No? Gotcha. Okay, so I got 2 toys. I got the arbiter here. So I'm gonna put him here. Okay, can you see the arbiter?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna put the robot over here. Can you see the robot? Okay. So, can the robot and the arbiter see each other? They can? Why? Why would you say they can see each other?
I don't know.
You don't know? Gotcha. Okay. But you think they can see each other right now? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So you got the sun and it keeps us warm, right? Because when the sun goes down, it's not as warm. So why is the sun hot?
Because it's just warm.
Because it's warm? Okay. Alright, so I got another question for you. So why is the sky blue?
Because it turned it blue.
Because it turned blue?
Yeah.
Why did it turn blue? How come it's not purple?
Because the sun got blue.
Gotcha. The sun got it blue? Oh, okay. See? That's a good hypothesis. So I got a question for you. Jimmy is called downstairs for dinner. He's excited because he's hungry for dinner when his mom calls him. So he runs down into the kitchen and he swings the door open into the kitchen. The door swings open and it knocks all the glasses on the counter down and breaks all of his mom's glasses. That's Jimmy. Now we got Alice. Alice tries to steal a cookie from the cookie jar while mom's not home. So she stands on a chair in the kitchen, and while she's reaching for the cookie jar, she knocks down those 15 glasses and shatters them all. So who was more bad? Because they both did the same thing. They both broke the glasses. But who was more bad, or were they the same? And why?
It was the same.
Really? How come?
I don't know.
Okay. Here, I'll make it a little simpler. Okay, so let's say the husband's wife is John, all right, and Sally is his wife. Sally is dying and needs medicine. John doesn't have enough money for the medicine. So
New babies aren't quite sure what happens to objects when they leave their sight. Sky's mom keeps disappearing and reappearing.
No wonder peekaboo is so much fun. During their
Can you see?
Important concept. Object permanence.
Can you hear?
Everything has a life of its own, even if it is.
Okay, I won't see.
Can you look at these 2 glasses? Do you think that they have the same amount of juice? Do you think they have the same? Okay.
Now we're going to pour this juice into this glass. Now, do you think that this glass has more juice? This glass has more juice, or do you think that they have the same amount?
That one has more.
This one has more, and why do you think that this one has more?
Because it's taller.
Okay, you ready? Okay. Does this row have more quarters? Does this row have more quarters, or do they have the same?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They look the same.
They're the same?
5, 5.
Okay. Okay. Does this row have more quarters? Does this row have more, or do they have the same?
This one has more.
That one has more quarters?
Yeah.
Why does this row have more quarters?
Because it's more far away.
It's more far away.
Yeah. It's like more far away than like that. It's like bigger.
All right, we're gonna play a game with the graham crackers, and we're gonna share them between me and you, okay? Okay. Do you think that we shared those fairly?
No.
No, why not?
Yes, yeah. You have those.
Well, what if we try this? Okay, can I put this down right there? Now is it fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it fair now?
Because we both have 2.
Can you tell me what you see when you look at that from where you're sitting? What are some of the things that you see?
And a cat.
A cat.
And a tree and a barn.
Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing. Can you tell me what you see when you look at it from that stool?
An owl.
An owl?
And a parrot.
What is that?
A goat.
A goat. Okay, is there anything else you see? Right there, what is that?
A tree.
A tree.
And that's another little tree.
Another little tree. Right. And can you tell me what I see when I look at this from where I'm sitting right here?
An owl.
Okay.
A goat.
Mm-hmm.
Another tree. And that. And that.
So first we're gonna look at these 2 cups right here. Do you think there's the same amount of juice in this glass as there is in that glass? They're even? Okay. So we're gonna take the juice from this glass and pour it into this one right here. Now we're gonna look at this glass and that one. So do you think that there's more juice in this glass, more juice in this glass, or do you think that they have the same amount?
Same amount.
Okay, why do you think that they have the same amount?
Just because this is skinny doesn't mean it's not the same amount. It has the same amount of juice in it, but this one is just wider and this one's skinnier, but they have the same amount of juice.
It says, if you hit a glass with a hammer, the glass will break. And then this one says, Dawn hit a glass with a hammer.
I knew that too.
Okay, now you observe that they tested the intelligence of the students at different ages, right? So then at the beginning, that teacher showed 2 equal glasses, and she put the water in one glass into a tall vessel. What did the little one say? Can you remember? The little one said there is more water in the tall one. Why? Because when compared with the other vessel, that it seems that there is more water. She doesn't understand the same amount of water was put into that. But the elderly child, she knows that it seems that it has more water because it's skinny. It has tall and thin. So like that, the children, their cognition differs from one stage to another. So then they give these tests, verbal definition of known object. So they give known objects and let them identify. Repetition of sentences of 15 words. There are 15 words of a sentence that they ask them to repeat again and again. Compare known objects from memory. So sometimes now they keep some objects, let the student look at it for some time, then they cover it and they ask them to tell the objects from their memory. Right, exercise of memory on pictures can memory balanawa, drawing a design from memory. So then ask them to draw a design. Immediate repetition of figures, resemblance of several known objects given from memory, right? Comparison of lens compare. Can you remember that the girl at the beginning, that the tonic lids, there were 5 and 5. Then when they were a little bit separated, she thinks that since the length is higher, that there is more coins in that, right? Then 5 weights to be placed in order. Can it weights that ascending or descending order they have to arrange. Gap in weights, exercise upon rhymes. They give a rhyme and do some exercises. Verbal gaps to be filled, that orally they have to fill gaps, right? Oral, not written. Reply to an abstract question. So they ask questions and they have to ask for the replies. Reversal of the hands of a clock. In a clock ke hand පිටිපස්සට කරකවල වෙලා වහනවා, right? Paper cutting එක shapes cut කරන්න දෙනවා. Definitions of abstract terms, certain terms definitions මොනවද කියලා. The child was required to take several tests and his score was based on the composite score across the various tests. So then child is given some tests and their scores are compared with the standard mark. Standard mark at the compare. Okay, right. Now look at here. We saw that the Binet-Simon scale basically measured the mental age of the child against the chronological age. I told you that IQ is mental age is divided. So we divide mental age and chronological age and multiply by 100, right? So mental age is divided by chronological age and multiplied by 100. That is Binet-Simon scale. So chronological age is the normal age of the child, and mental age is how intelligent the child is. That I told you that now if the child is 10 years old, that the child is given a test related to 10 years. Then he's given a test related to 11 years. And if he does accurately or perform well, then his mental age is higher than chronological age. Right? So an average score means that the mental age and the chronological age match each other. That means if the child has taken 70 or 60, that means they are equal. The mental age and chronological age දෙකම සමානයි. If the child has scored more, that grade 6 එකක් තියලා ලකුණු ගන්නවා 7 එකක් ගන්නවා, then he has advanced mental age than his chronological age. Retarded, even his test score to his age is very low, right? Then he has retarded mental age. එයාගේ වයස එකවත් යට කරගන්න බෑ ගොඩක් ලකුණු අඩුයි. So he has retarded mental age. Right, Stanford Binet scale. The Stanford-Binet scale was developed in 1960s by an American psychologist, Louis Terman, right? Then he revised that Binet and Simon scale and expanded it as Stanford-Binet scale, right? So then using this test, they measured the intelligence quotient, IQ, intelligence quotient. Repeat, mental age is divided by chronological age and multiply by 100. We find intelligence quotient, IQ. Intelligence quotient is calculated by dividing the mental age by the chronological age and then multiply by 100. This test allowed children of different age group to be compared on the basis of their IQ scores. So according to their IQ scores, they are categorized as gifted, average, slow learners, idiots, right, like that. Okay, right. So this is a kind of category. Right. Then the Stanford-Binet scale has emerged as a standard test. So this is a standard test for measuring intelligence, right? So one problem of IQ is the different age group, that IQ for different age group is different, right? So then that cannot be compared, right? So then there is no way of measuring IQ for adults. So that is also one shortcoming of Stanford-Binet's IQ system, right? In fact, the test works best for people ranging between 2 to 13. 2 to 13 තමයි හොඳට මේක හොයන්න පුළුවන්, right? So then it is very difficult to measure the IQ rate of adults. Okay, right. So that's all. Is there anything you want to ask? I will send this and the next day's PPT. දෙකම එවන්න. Anything you want to inquire? So what you have to remember is in your class, there are students belong to different IQ rates, right? Sometimes this IQ comes from their parents, their genes. Now I can remember that there was a family. Father is a maths teacher. They all can do maths very well. There are two engineers, one mathematics teacher, he's not an electrician. That means he's repairing radios and all. So all are good at mathematics. So that comes from the genes. Some IQ that if the mother or father is ignorant, that comes to their children as well. Some January. Right. What else you want to ask? Anything you want to inquire? No problems?
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah.
Madam, I am a new one for this degree program. This is my first lecture. Do we have some assignments?
Yes, but we have some assignments, but still I was not made aware that when are we going to have the assignments and what are the assignments we are going to do, right? We have 2 assignments, it seems. So we'll let you know when there are assignments.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Okay, I will inquire him. When are we going to give them the assignments? Right. Any other thing related to the lesson you want to get clarified or you want to know? Could you understand the lesson, what I explained today? You didn't understand the lesson?
Yes, ma'am. All clear.
Okay, right. So then we'll meet next day. So are you the ones who are doing action research, Nanny? You are not doing action research. Did you do your action research? Not yet? Did you complete your action research? No, not yet.
No, ma'am.
What are action research? Not yet, ne? Right, okay, we'll do in the future. Right, okay. Thank you for joining and your patience. So if you have anything, I'll send this now. And I will send this to Mr. Richard, so he will send it too. So if there's anything that you want to get clarified, you can ask me. And how many PowerPoint presentations you have received so far? Hello.
12 or 13, I think.
Okay, right. Right, okay. No, I'm asking guidance.
We didn't receive it, ma'am.
In even a single PowerPoint presentation?
It is in the group, ma'am. We can reply in the group.
No, guidance and counseling we received.
Uh,
But I think this is not, I couldn't able to find them, ma'am.
that means what couldn't you find? The PPT? PowerPoint presentation or the videos?
PowerPoint presentation, ma'am.
Okay. That means how many you have received so far? Tell me. You didn't receive any?
No, ma'am, I didn't receive any.
Okay, right. I will send. I will send to Mr. Richard.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Then he can send it to you, right? Okay. Thank you for joining. Okay, good night.
Okay, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.